There is a version of you that nobody can shake. A version of you that does not flinch when someone comes at you with criticism, hostility, or manipulation. A version of you that does not lose sleep over what somebody said at the office, what some stranger posted online, or what a former friend whispered behind your back when they thought you were not listening. A version of you that moves through the world with such quiet, grounded confidence that people feel it before you even open your mouth. They sense it in the way you carry yourself. They see it in the calm steadiness behind your eyes. They feel it in the weight of your presence even when you say nothing at all. That version of you is not some distant fantasy. It is not reserved for celebrities, billionaires, or people who had a perfect upbringing. It is available to you right now, but only if you are willing to do what most people are never willing to do. You have to be willing to unlearn almost everything that society has taught you about how to respond to the world around you. Because here is the hard truth that most people spend their entire lives missing. Almost everything you were ever taught about strength is completely backwards. You were taught that strength means speaking up. It means defending yourself. It means fighting back, proving your point, making sure people know they cannot walk over you. And because of that conditioning, because of years and decades of absorbing that belief, you have spent enormous amounts of your most valuable resources on people and situations that were never worth a single second of your time. Every single time you fired back at someone who was not worth your attention, you gave them something precious they did not deserve. You gave them your energy. Every time you lay awake at night mentally rehearsing arguments, replaying conversations, imagining all the things you should have said differently, you handed your peace of mind to someone who probably forgot what they said the very next morning. Every time you bent over backwards trying to explain yourself to people who never planned on understanding you anyway, you surrendered a piece of your power. That ends today. What I'm going to walk you through are 7 psychological laws. Principles that the most strategically powerful minds throughout history have studied, refined, and applied. Principles that will completely change how you operate in the world, not by turning you into a cold, emotionless robot, not by making you distant, unapproachable, or difficult to be around, but by making you genuinely untouchable, by putting you firmly in the driver's seat of every interaction, every relationship, and every situation in your life. Let us get into it. BLOW1. Your attention is the most valuable thing you own. Most people think their most valuable asset is their time, but time without attention is completely worthless. You can have all the hours in the world and still accomplish nothing of lasting significance if your focus is scattered across drama, distractions, and situations that were never worth your mental energy to begin with. Here is what nobody ever tells you about attention. Wherever it goes, power follows. Think about that carefully for a moment. Every single time you give someone your attention, your focus, your mental energy, your emotional bandwidth, you are making an investment. And like any investment, the only question that truly matters is this: what is the return? When you respond to someone who disrespected you, what is the return? When you engage with someone who has been stirring up drama in your circle, what is the return? When you spend 3 hours of your evening emotionally chewing over something a coworker said at lunch, what is the return? The answer is nothing. Less than nothing, because you have paid a real cost with zero gain. Psychologically powerful people understand this at a deep level. They treat their attention the way a serious investor treats capital. They do not throw it at every opportunity that comes knocking. They do not spread it thin across people and situations that will never produce results. They are ruthlessly selective, and because of that selectivity, their attention actually means something when they give it. When they focus on you, you feel it. When they give you their time and energy, it carries real weight, and that weight is influence, that is magnetism. Here is the practical shift you need to make starting today. Before you give anything, your response, your time, your emotional energy, ask one question: does this deserve it? Not, should I be polite? Not, will they think I am rude if I do not respond? Just, does this deserve my attention? If the answer is no, you move on. No guilt, no second guessing, no lengthy explanation. The people who have built real power in their lives are not the ones who responded to everything. They are the ones who responded to the right things. They created an invisible filter, and only what passed through that filter got access to them. You need that filter. Build it, honor it, and watch how quickly your energy, your focus, and your results begin to transform. LOW2, silenci is not surrender, it is domination. Most people in this culture have a deeply distorted relationship with silence. We live in a world that rewards noise. The loudest voice gets the most attention. The person who always has a comeback is considered quick-witted and sharp. The person who never backs down from a verbal confrontation is seen as strong and unbreakable. And because of that cultural conditioning, most people have learned to associate silence with weakness, with backing down, with losing the fight. But I need you to flip that script entirely, because psychologically speaking, nothing could be further from the truth. When someone attacks you and you fire back, what have you actually accomplished? You have validated them. You have confirmed that their words carried enough weight to pull you into the fight. You have entered their arena, played by their rules, and spent your energy on their terms. Even if you win the argument, you have lost something important. You have shown them exactly how to get to you, but when someone attacks you and you say nothing, everything shifts. Silence in the right moment is the most destabilizing response you can give, because the human brain is wired to expect reactions. When someone throws a verbal punch and hits nothing but air, it creates a kind of psychological vertigo. They do not know what to do with it. They expected resistance and got absolutely nothing, and that nothing starts to work on them in ways that words never could. They start questioning themselves. Did you even see what they said? Did it bother you at all? Do you think so little of them that they are not worth a response? The uncertainty eats at them. The not knowing is genuinely torturous for people who are trying to provoke a reaction. Meanwhile, you have moved on completely. This is what real psychological strength looks like. Not the loudest comeback, not the most devastating insult, just the calm, quiet signal that says you do not register, you're not a threat worth acknowledging, you're not even an inconvenience. There is another dimension to this. Every word you speak is information. Every time you explain yourself, you reveal what you care about. Every time you defend yourself, you show people exactly where your soft spots are. And anyone who wants to manipulate you will file that information away and use it against you the next chance they get. Silence gives them nothing. No data, no emotional tells, no map of your vulnerabilities. You become unreadable, and unreadable people are nearly impossible to control. Choose your silence. Choose your words. Understand that in many situations, the most powerful thing you will ever say is absolutely nothing. LAW3, scarcity is the enemy of value. There is a reason the things we want most in life are things we cannot always have. It is not a coincidence, and it is not an accident. It is pure psychology. Human beings are hardwired to value what is rare and to discount what is abundant. It is baked deep into our biology. Scarcity signals value. Abundance signals disposability. Most people understand this principle when they think about products, money, or social status, but they completely miss the fact that it applies to them personally, to their time, to their presence, to their availability. Think about someone in your life, maybe from a previous relationship or a close friendship, who was always there, always available, always dropped everything the moment you called, always responsive, always accommodating, always present without fail. How did you feel about them after a while? If you are being fully honest with yourself, probably something between comfortable and bored, maybe even a little suffocated. And here is the uncomfortable truth. You probably did not value their presence the way you should have, precisely because it was always there. There was no cost to accessing it, and we simply do not value what costs us nothing. Now flip it completely. Think about someone who was selective, someone whose attention felt like it had to be earned, someone who showed up fully when they showed up, but was not just perpetually available for everyone at every moment. How did you feel about that person? You thought about them. You wondered what they were doing. You valued the moments you did connect, because those moments felt genuinely earned and real. That is not manipulation. That is psychology in its purest form, and the most strategically aware people in the world use it intentionally in every area of their lives. The principle is simple. Be present, but be selective. Show up fully when you show up, but do not be everywhere for everyone at all times. Stop being the person who responds to every message in 30 seconds. Stop being the one who rearranges their entire schedule every time someone needs something. Stop making yourself so constantly available that people start taking your presence for granted, because they will. People always take for granted what feels permanent and unlimited. Let your availability reflect your actual priorities. When people start to feel that intentionality, when they realize your presence is given and not guaranteed, your value in their lives rises dramatically. LAW4, the mind-bending power of the non-reaction. Here is something that the most strategically minded people figured out long ago, and it is something the rest of the world still does not fully grasp. Your non-reaction is more powerful than any reaction you could ever have. When someone tries to provoke you, whether it is a direct insult, a passive-aggressive comment, a social media jab, or a backhanded compliment wrapped in false kindness, they are executing a strategy. Whether they know it or not, what they are really doing is trying to take the wheel from you. They want to steer your emotional state. They want to make you angry, defensive, embarrassed, or flustered. And the moment you react exactly the way they intended, they have succeeded. You have handed them complete control. But when you do not react, when you look right through them, when you continue your day completely undisturbed, when you give them zero acknowledgement that their attempt even landed, something fascinating happens inside their mind. The human brain is built around feedback loops. We act and we expect a result. When someone provokes you and you react, the loop closes. They know their action had impact. They learn what works. They file it away. But when you do not react, the loop stays open. There is no closure. Their brain keeps running the same sequence, searching for a resolution that never arrives. That open loop is psychologically consuming. It creates a low-grade obsession. They replay the moment. They wonder why it did not land. They question themselves, and all of that mental energy they are burning is energy spent on you, while you spend zero energy on them. Let that fully sink in. They are fighting a battle you are not even participating in, and they are still losing. This is true at every scale. The coworker who makes a snide comment and watches you laugh and move on. The person online who leaves a nasty comment and gets nothing back. Not a response, not even a single like, just silence. The ex who tries to get under your skin through mutual friends and finds that their attempts bounce right off you. Non-reaction is not passivity. It is a powerful statement. It says, "You have no grip on me. You do not affect my emotional state. You're not in my world the way you want to be." That statement hits harder than any clapback ever could. LAW5, know WA2 to cut and do it cleanly. Not everyone in your life deserves to be there. That might sound harsh at first hearing, but it is one of the most compassionate realizations you can ever arrive at. Because when you allow the wrong people to occupy space in your life, you do not just drain your own resources. You also deprive the right people of your very best self. There are 3 categories of people you need to examine honestly and remove cleanly if necessary. The first category is your adversaries, not people who simply disagree with you. Healthy disagreement is genuinely valuable and makes you sharper. I mean the people who are actively working against you, the ones who smile warmly to your face and undermine you the moment your back is turned. The ones who quietly celebrate your stumbles and minimize your wins. The ones who would genuinely prefer to see you fail. The temptation when you identify these people is to expose them, confront them, or publicly call them out for everyone to see. You want justice. You want people to know the truth of who they really are. But the strategic reality is this: engaging with them gives them a platform. It makes them relevant. The move is to erase them. Not dramatically, not publicly, just quietly and completely. Stop giving them your attention. Stop referencing them in conversation. Stop letting their existence shape any of your decisions. Then keep building, keep winning, keep rising, because your success is a far more devastating and lasting response than anything you could ever say to them directly. The second category is the chronic critics, people who never create anything, never build anything, never put their own work on the line for the world to judge. They just sit permanently on the sidelines and tear down everyone who actually tries. These people are not your problem. They are not your responsibility. you owe them absolutely nothing. Not a response, not a defense, not even a moment of genuine consideration. The only thing critics need to survive is an audience. The moment you stop providing one, they become completely irrelevant. Your success does not argue with criticism. Your success makes criticism irrelevant. The third category is the most insidious of all, the energy drains. These are people who look like friends, act like allies, but slowly hollow you out from the inside without you even noticing until it is too late. They always have a crisis. There is always some emergency that requires your emotional labor, your time, your resources. Every single conversation leaves you feeling completely exhausted, and whenever you try to establish a healthy boundary, somehow you end up feeling guilty about it. Protecting your energy is not selfish, it is survival. You cannot show up fully for the people who actually deserve you if you have been drained completely dry by the ones who do not. Cut cleanly, not with cruelty, not with drama. Just quietly, consistently, and permanently redirect your energy toward people who genuinely add to your life rather than constantly subtract from it. LAW 6. Build a mind that nothing can penetrate. The reason people can get under your skin, control your emotions, and pull you completely off your game is not because they are powerful. It is because you have not yet built the internal architecture that makes you genuinely untouchable. That architecture has a name. It is called emotional sovereignty. Emotional sovereignty does not mean you stop feeling things. It does not mean you become cold, numb, or permanently detached from life and the people in it. What it means is that you are the one who decides what affects you, when, and by exactly how much. External events happen, but they do not automatically run your internal world. You are the governor of your own emotional state, not the people around you, not the constant noise of the news cycle, not your critics and not your circumstances. Most people are the precise opposite of this. They are what psychologists call emotionally reactive. Someone says something mildly critical, and their entire mood collapses for the rest of the day. Someone ignores them, and they spiral immediately into deep insecurity and self-doubt. Someone challenges their decision, and they either explode in anger or shut down completely. Their internal state is almost entirely determined by external inputs, which means anyone who knows how to manipulate those inputs has full and total control over them. The first step toward emotional sovereignty is radical self-awareness. You need to identify your specific emotional triggers with real precision, the exact situations, words, or behaviors that reliably knock you off balance. What makes you defensive? What makes you feel the overwhelming need to explain yourself? What makes you angry enough to say or do something you will deeply regret? What makes you desperately seek approval from people who do not deserve to give it? Those triggers are the cracks in your armor. And whether people are doing it consciously or not, they will find those cracks and press on them relentlessly. The second step is deliberate desensitization. This means repeatedly exposing yourself, mentally, emotionally, and experientially, to the things that used to trigger you until they simply stop triggering you, not by avoiding them, but by facing them with increasing calm and groundedness. Someone questions your competence, and instead of firing up defensively, you get genuinely curious. Someone tries to embarrass you, and instead of shrinking, you stay completely grounded. Someone tries to make you feel small, and instead of absorbing it, you just let it slide right off you like water off glass. Emotional sovereignty is the foundation that everything else is built upon. Build it first, build it strong, and watch how profoundly different the world looks when you are no longer a passenger in your own life. LAW S. Even, the art of winning without moving. Here is the most sophisticated principle of all, and in many ways the hardest to truly internalize, because it runs completely counter to everything our achievement-obsessed culture teaches us from the earliest age. Sometimes the most powerful move you can possibly make is no move at all. We have been conditioned since childhood to believe that power is action, that winning means fighting, that if you are not constantly producing, performing, defending, and proving yourself to the world, you are falling behind. And so we exhaust ourselves, we fight every battle, we respond to every provocation, We engage every critic. We treat every minor challenge as an emergency, requiring an immediate response. And all of that frantic reactive activity, most of it is completely wasted energy. Most of those battles were never worth fighting in the first place. Most of those responses were entirely unnecessary. The cost of all that reactive effort is the ongoing depletion of the energy you actually need for the things that genuinely matter and move your life forward. Strategic inaction is the discipline of recognizing which situations will resolve themselves entirely if you simply stay out of the way and which ones actually require your deliberate intervention. Knowing when not to act is one of the highest forms of intelligence a person can develop. Let me give you a concrete example. Someone is spreading harmful rumors about you. The reactive move is to go into immediate damage control, reach out to everyone who might have heard, explain yourself exhaustively, defend your reputation, try desperately to get out ahead of the story. In doing all of that, you accomplish several things, none of them good. You confirm that the rumors are getting to you emotionally. You spend enormous energy on a narrative you do not control. You make the situation far bigger than it probably needed to be. The strategic move is to do nothing. Keep showing up with complete integrity. Keep producing real results. Keep being exactly who you actually are in every room you walk into. Trust that in time, what is real will speak infinitely louder than what is fabricated by people with small intentions. Here is another scenario. Someone is clearly trying to compete with you. They are watching your every move, mimicking your approach, positioning themselves as your direct rival. The reactive move is to engage the competition, to acknowledge the rivalry, to start racing them. The strategic move is to ignore them with total and complete indifference. Stay focused on your own path, your own vision, your own standard of excellence. The moment you start racing someone else, you have handed them the power to dictate your pace and your direction. And if you are not racing anyone, there is simply no race to lose. Strategic inaction is not laziness. It is not avoidance. It is the precise discipline of refusing to burn your irreplaceable resources on battles that do not serve you, so that when you do choose to move, you move with everything you have towards something that genuinely and profoundly matters. 7 laws, all of them deeply interconnected, all of them pointing toward the same powerful destination. Guard your attention like it is the most precious resource you own, because it absolutely is. Master silence not as avoidance, but as a strategic tool that speaks louder and lands harder than words ever could. Make your presence something that has to be earned, not something that is simply always available for the taking. Let your non-reactions become your most powerful statement in every moment that tries to pull you off your center. Be ruthless, lovingly and cleanly ruthless, about who gets space in your life and who does not. Build an emotional architecture so solid and deep that external chaos cannot find a single foothold inside you, and learn to win not just through bold action, but through the strategic, deliberate, and conscious choice of inaction. None of this happens overnight. Real transformation never does. But you do not need overnight. You need consistent, deliberate application. One interaction, one choice, one quiet moment at a time. The next time someone tries to bait you into reacting, do not react. The next time someone demands an explanation, you do not owe them. Let the demand hang unanswered in the air, and walk away with your dignity completely intact. The next time you feel the pull to prove yourself to someone who never believed in you anyway, redirect that precious energy toward someone or something that genuinely deserves it. The version of you that is genuinely untouchable is not somewhere out there in the future waiting to be discovered. It is being built right now in this moment, and in every single choice you make about where your energy goes and who gets access to you. Start protecting it like it matters, because it does. You are building something extraordinary. Do not let people who are building nothing at all talk you off your path. Now go be untouchable.